I
Oh
guess
man.
the one thing people start asking is that how did you and Tim meet up? And because how
Mhm.
did you guys meet up?
Oh how we met is funny. He was dating my sister. Tim was dating my sister
Okay.
at the time. I
Well,
was
this.
about 17. That's how we. Even though even in our town, because we live in a small town, Peoria, Illinois. Everyone knew each other, and Tim's family was really well known because his dad was one of the few barbers in town, down in like the area of town with like the black neighborhoods, and like everyone knew Tim's dad because Tim dad cut my hair. He was my barber when I was 3 years old. My mom would take me to the barber shop, and it was Tim's dad cutting my hair. But I had never met Tim though.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so I never met Tim. So but they were like, again, we lived in a small town, and they were all his family was really well known family in town, and so yeah, that's how we met. It was people would always come to me like, hey man, Tim Kelly. I'm like, yeah, I remember. I know him. I see him around, and they would go to him. Hey, this dude named Bobby Robinson, because everyone called me Bobby back home. No one called me Bob, and so yeah, Bobby Robinson. Yeah, I know that cat. Yeah, yeah. So finally, and he started dating my sister. So one day my sister was like, Tim wants you to know, he said you should come down, you should come down to his house sometimes. You guys could work on some music. I said, for real? I said, yeah, I'll go down there. And so I went down there and I took my keyboard with me because it's funny, I was trying to sell this keyboard at the time. I said, I'll take my keyboard to see maybe if you want to buy this
Right.
keyboard. So I took my keyboard with me, and we actually, I think we worked on some tracks that day. Yeah, and that's how we
Wow.
started working on music. Yeah,
Yeah, but then
that's how it started.
how did you forge the friendship? Because if you think about Jimmy and Terry talking about their friendship, how did you guys form your friendship?
Because um, because like from that moment, like we were like locked in. Like we started creating like every day. Like we just started literally create music every day. And then like a lot of bands that I was in, like I was in this church band. We literally was trying to be commissioned. I was in this church band at the time, and we were literally obsessed with commission. So we made Tim a part of that band. He was in the band, so he played keys in the band and everything. So see, that's where our friendship started. And again, I was like 17 to 18 at that time. I was fresh out of high school. And Tim was he's 3 years older than me, like three and a half
Okay.
years older than me. So he was like 21-ish, 22. So yeah, so from there, and then like maybe a year later, it was when I ended up moving to Detroit.
Yeah.
Well, before I moved to Detroit, when my father moved to New York, I didn't want to move just yet. And me and my dad were like on different pages with a lot of stuff. So Tim was like, "Wait, mom, you stay in my crib. If you want, you can sleep in the basement." He said, "I asked my dad to make sure," and his family was kind enough, they allowed me to stay with them. So I lived with them for nearly a year
Wow.
before I moved to Detroit. Because how I ended up in Detroit was finally I got to the point, like after I had the accident in Tim's sister's car and all that stuff, and I was like, man, you know what? I'm over here making a mess. Let me go home to my parents, my family. So I went to upstate New York, Syracuse, New York, where they were. And then like within the first few weeks, my dad had this huge um they had this huge thing at my dad's church. And the guy from Detroit came, who was the
Okay.
pastor. Okay. Remember I said I was at Aretha Franklin's
Yeah,
father's
yeah,
church. I got that
yeah.
opportunity. Well, her father had actually just passed away like a year or two before.
Okay.
And so the guy that took over the church after
Uh,
him,
yeah.
his name is Bob Smith, pastor Bob. He actually still pastors the church to this day. He was preaching at my dad's church. So he heard me playing there. So he approached me after the service, like, hey man, I want to bring you to Detroit. I said, huh? He's like, yeah, I want to bring you to Detroit. I really think you can help transform my youth division at my church. I was like, um, okay. He's like, give me your information. We're gonna fly you out. And sure enough, like 2 weeks later, they flew me to Detroit.
With your dad's
And my
blessing.
dad is like, oh my God. So my dad is like, oh my God, this is amazing. My mom is terrified. Again, Detroit is like the murder capital of the world.
Yeah.
And so yeah, that's how it started. So anyway, So when I first, because I lived in Detroit maybe a year before Tim moved up there. And so, so we always kept in touch and everything. And when I met those people at the studio, I was like, man, I think I found us a break. So that's when they moved him up to, well, they paid for him a plane ticket. I ain't gonna say they moved him because they really just paid for a plane ticket. But yeah, that's how we, our friendship really forged early like that. And we went through so many trials and tribulations early on, like testing our ability to stay focused and to, stay passionate about becoming producers. And so, yeah, that's the thing that helped us, form that kind of mindset of like, wow, we all we got for now,
Yeah.
And so, because we didn't want to let anyone know that we actually were struggling, like not eating most days.
Wow.
It's not, but we didn't tell anyone. We never told anyone. All we did was like we focused on, yeah, we're gonna be in the studio, boys. Oh yeah, we're gonna be at TLC. Yeah. So when all these things a year later started manifesting, it was like, wow, this is crazy. And so
the other question people ask is that being a production duo, how do you decide who does what? I mean, does one write the lyrics? Does one, yeah.
Well, we both, since early on, we both pretty much all did the same thing, and then you start learning your roles. Certain things, like I knew that, okay, Tim's gonna be focused on the beat. Okay, while Tim's focused on the beat, I'm gonna focus on some chords. Okay, and then so Tim looking at, okay, so now Bob focused on the chords. Okay, let me focus on the bass line and follow the chords. So I'm like, okay, all right, let me bring in some strings while Tim adding that bass line. So we build like this.
Okay.
We'd always just build our songs like one is doing this. Okay, I'll go do this. Okay, I'll go do this. So it was always something getting done. And then eventually we realized that we both do this. We both play, instruments and stuff, and we both are writers. Okay. And so from the beginning, we've always modeled ourselves after, the Jimmys and Terrys, Teddys, LA Babyface, and all those guys are completely self-contained.
Yeah.
So from the beginning, we were like, yeah, that's how we're supposed to be. And so we always focused on our writing, and we always did all our vocal arrangements. Every song we ever did, we approached it like, okay, we're writers first. And so I think a lot of people didn't realize that about our music, that we wrote everything. And that we did collaborate with artists. Like when we worked with Boyz II Men, we all collectively wrote together.
Yeah.
Tamia is So Into You. That was when Tamia was first getting into writing. And so, but like Tamia wrote on that song as well. But like the Bobby Valentino album, that's Bobby was really just getting into writing, but between the three of us, we essentially wrote that whole album. Me, Tim, and Bobby.
Yeah, I mean,
Slow Down and all those things.
Hey guys, thanks for watching. Thanks for being a part of Halftime Chat. Please remember to subscribe, share, and comment. But most importantly, why don't you become a member of Halftime Chat? We've got amazing videos, amazing perks, and being able to support the channel. But anyway, thanks for watching. Take care.
I never participated in that category.
And somewhere in between us, or even loving us, on which I didn't miss you.
What was it like growing up?
She's still making an impact on 4 houses down.
I have a pieces.
I didn't get this one and that one.
That works for you, but just for me,
No, okay, you're okay.
They don't understand what Jonas Boys and Men all
Play it.
And all these guys, they all work together.
I mean, I love all different genres.